Hi guys, I'm Kylen and I wanted to read a book to you. So I don't have that many children's books at my house. Actually, I only have one, and it is called Hillary Rodham Clinton, Some Girls Are Born to Lead, and I hope it inspires you. All right, here we go. In the 1950s, it was a man's world. Only boys could grow up to have powerful jobs. Only boys had no ceilings on their dreams. Girls weren't supposed to act smart, tough, or ambitious, even though deep inside, they may have felt that way. But in the town of Park Ridge, Illinois, along came Hillary. Wearing thick glasses and a sailor dress, acing tests, upstaging boys in class, and lining up sports events to raise money for the poor. Take that, 1950s. Some girls are born to lead, and some love politics and public service. Through her church, Hillary learned about the troubled world beyond the green lawns and tree-lined streets of her own town. Her youth group met with poor Black and Latino teenagers in the inner city. They went to hear a stirring speech by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Do the most good you can, Hillary's youth minister taught. Be kind, work hard, aim high, her mother urged. They didn't tell her she could only go so far just because she was a girl. And then that's young Hillary, and that's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he says there is nothing more tragic than to sleep through a revolution. Hillary's hard work got her into a prestigious East Coast women's college. Many of her classmates were brilliant prep school girls. But it was Hillary who got elected student body president and was chosen to give the first senior graduation speech the school ever had. At the ceremony, a senator discouraged students from protesting about America's problems. Hillary was outraged. When it was her turn, she approached the microphone and did a startling thing. She criticized him. Her classmates applauded for 7 thunderous minutes. This is her up at the podium. She says, "Fear is always with us, but we just don't have time for it. Not now." After college, Hillary entered law school so she could work for justice. Most future lawyers were men, but that didn't scare her. She trounced them in debates, attended rallies, and helped start a newspaper about how laws could improve society. That year, the college was erupting with violent demonstrations over civil rights and the war in Vietnam. When angry students and professors met to discuss a strike, who calmed everybody down? Well, young Hillary in her bell-bottoms, sitting on stage, cool as can be. On summer breaks, Hillary plunged into action. She investigated the filthy camps of migrant farm workers in Florida where kids couldn't go to school or get medical care. She walked up and down dangerous blocks in Texas, registering voters for the presidential election. One colleague called her fearless, and many friends thought so too. They thought Hillary would land a high-ranking job in Washington, D.C., but she didn't. Well, not yet. Instead, she went to Arkansas to be with Bill, her law school sweetheart. The two of them loved politics as much as they loved each other. They decided to spend their lives and serve America together. When Bill ran and got elected to office, Hillary did everything she could to help him. She also became a mother. She worked at a top-notch law firm and advised groups dedicated to children and the poor. Hillary was a new breed, a superwoman. But sometimes it was hard, like when she had to rush out of the courtroom to call her babysitter about her sick child, or when she heard the nasty things people said about her looks because she didn't take the time to paint her toenails or style her hair. And it was hard for Hillary a few years later when she helped Bill campaign to become president of the United States. She wasn't frightened of the crowds and cameras and reporters, but she couldn't believe how people criticized her in ways they'd never criticize a man. They said her headbands were too casual and her attitude was too feisty. An ex-president said a first lady shouldn't be too strong or too smart. Others called her the Hillary problem, and a lot worse things than that. It didn't matter what those people said. Hillary was determined to be an active first lady. "I love my husband and I love my country," she stated. "I want to make a difference." That's her and Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, and her daughter Chelsea. After Bill became president, Hillary led a task force on health care so all Americans could afford to see a doctor. Some people hated Hillary and her new ideas. When she went on tour to talk about her plan, she was met with mobs so threatening that she had to wear a bulletproof vest. Hillary is tough as nails, news stories said, but after Congress turned down her health plan, she was crushed. She thought about Eleanor Roosevelt, another president's wife who tried to help the needy. Go back to your knitting, I was told. Instead, I went back to work. And so did Hillary. She said her prayers, she regained her strength, and became a Goodwill Ambassador overseas. In villages with dirt roads, she heard heartbreaking stories of how baby girls were abandoned and young women were abused. She couldn't bear to be silent about such suffering. At a United Nations conference in China, Hillary dared to say what no world leader was saying. Women's rights are human rights, once and for all. Her speech was blacked out by the Chinese government to try to stop her message from spreading, but the next day it made international front page news. At the end of Bill's term, Hillary finally got the chance to run for office herself, to become a U.S. Senator from New York. She loved campaigning across the state, getting to know the people in its cities and small towns and farms. Though the odds were against her, she won the race. No first lady had ever done such a thing. After taking office, Hillary worked long, tiring days for all New Yorkers. She fought hard for funding to help the firefighters and first responders who got sick after the attack on September 11th. Hillary wanted to serve her country, every bit of it. America was hurting. Thousands of people were losing their jobs, homes, and medical care. So in 2007, at age 59, Hillary joined the race to be a candidate for president. Reporters and opponents made fun of her age, her laugh, her legs, and her ambition. She knew they would. But she kept fighting, and though it was not enough to win, she earned a record-breaking 18 million votes. During her concession speech, Hillary said those votes were 18 million cracks in the glass ceiling, in the hard, invisible prejudice that prevents women from becoming powerful leaders. Standing proudly at the podium, she declared, "It's unremarkable to think that a woman can be president of the United States, and that is remarkable." Hillary returned to the Senate, but not for long. President Obama, her former rival, wanted her to be his Secretary of State. The woman who was called too ambitious now met with kings, sultans, and prime ministers in a total of 112 countries. She visited activists to draw attention to their causes. Wherever she went, her message was the same. The role and rights of women, their freedom and equality and dignity, is the unfinished business of the 21st century. No one gets to stop a girl from being the greatest person she can be. Hillary thinks everyone deserves that chance. All her life, she fought for fairness and compassion. The cruelest words and wrongest barriers have not been strong enough to hold her back. So no matter what Hillary does next, if she wants to change the world, she'll find a way. And I hope you do too. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Stay safe. Be careful. Be good to each other. Talk to you soon. Bye.